from the bottoms of Bitcoin. So let's just recap how high this move was. It's officially 43%. That is a huge move for Hello everyone and welcome. I'm your host Jitsuko Toshiro, bringing the latest updates regarding the cryptocurrency markets. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can see I have 53 subscribers now, and I'm very grateful for every single one of you. Thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. And then lastly, here is my Twitter. As you can see, I do give you guys real-time updates all the time here. I even tell you guys when I'm sleeping. So if you haven't already, subscribe to my Twitter, follow me on Twitter, and I'll give you guys real-time updates about the cryptocurrency markets all the time. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, we had a massive move from the bottoms of Bitcoin. So let's just recap how high this move was. It's officially 43%. That is a huge move for Bitcoin, especially given that we were in the bear market. And we haven't really seen a leg down yet, and everyone's expecting a leg down. So let me go ahead and show you guys some logical areas of resistance. So 25K is definitely one of them. This 25K range is going to be a hard area of resistance for us to beat. And then I do think we can actually sneak up to this $30,000 resistance if we're lucky. And so those are the two that I have on my belt, 30,000 and 25. These two areas are the key areas of resistance. If we can get past this one, I mean, we really have just a bunch of hot air until we get to 30,000. One thing I would like to point out on the daily time frame is we had this nice rounding here and this nice rounding here. And that kind of brought us up to the new highs that we're seeing right now. And then we blasted past all these resistances. We did consolidate here for past few days, and I did mention that the more we consolidate under the resistance, the more likely we will break to the upside, and that eventually happened. And so sometimes that doesn't work out. See, like right here, we consolidated. It was a healthy consolidation, but we broke down to the downside. But you know, given this big push that we've had with no retracements, I'm not surprised that we actually headed higher. Now the question is, where are we going? And this is a bottom end. Now, I think it's likely the bottom isn't in yet, is not. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because cryptocurrency, especially Bitcoin, and if we go to the past, we've seen some rallies that have happened in the past, but they weren't technically the bottom. Like if you look at this 2018 to 2019 low and we retrace it, it was a 300% rally. I don't think we're going to do 300%, but I definitely see 100% on the table. We could definitely double the $15,000 lows. So you can rally, but sometimes they don't last, or they get pushed back down to retest some key levels. So I think that we will see 16,000 and 17,000 again. The question is when. Another thing I'd like to point out is the relative strength index. As you can see here, we are creating some bearish divergences in the relative strength index, none of which are confirmed yet. So you gotta wait for the confirmation. Sometimes these bearish divergences, they can play out and they can rip up before they head down lower. So keep that in mind. Even though we're diverting on the relative strength index, that doesn't mean that price action can't go up another 20%. So be careful when you're reading this as an indicator of us. This just is basically telling you there's less buyers at these prices. So keep that in mind. There's not a lot of people that are going to buy a $30,000 Bitcoin when the rates are so high. So this is kind of my TA right now. It's kind of a broad spectrum look at it, just because we're in such a big move that there's really no consolidation and no 50-50 right now. I think we're gonna actually just head up to the 25 eventually, and then we'll see what happens from there. We might wake up and then start heading down, or we might just head up there and consolidate again and try to retest that 30. So just be patient with this. If you didn't catch this move here, it's okay. You don't need to. You can sit on the sidelines if you're trading. Let's go ahead and look at Ethereum. Ethereum is the beta to Bitcoin. And look, I did mention two things. Number one, I mentioned there's a key resistance here. We're kind of getting stopped there, that 1660 area. And then let me go ahead and get rid of these drawings actually. So we're at this 1660. These are old lines that I drew. Ethereum hasn't met its 1 year resistance yet. And I think right now it's actually going to go test it. It hasn't tested it yet. As you can see as well, I have the relative strength index. We are having some divergence here, higher price action and lower relative strength index. I think the key area of resistance is kind of in between these two lines, and it's the 1770 area. So keep that in mind when you're looking at Ethereum. We're reaching major resistance. We might wake up above and then hit this horizontal and then come down. So keep that in mind as well. But I do think Ethereum and all the alts do have some ways to go. Their bottom is not in yet. And if you look at Ethereum, I wouldn't consider this structure a bottom. And that is actually the lowest it's been. So the June lows for Ethereum are the lows. So we definitely have some more to go. We're going to come down and retest these lows, and I think we're going to actually head down lower. One thing in our favor is not favor, honestly, because I don't like seeing crypto down so much, but one thing that is a good argument for the bear case is that the Feds are very hawkish and they want to control inflation. So if they see everyone spending their money on stocks and crypto, they are definitely going to hone in on that. Secondly, the Binance token. So this is the one that I want. And look, when two beautiful paths collide, you get an excellent collaboration. As you can see here, we have this downsloping trend of resistance for the year, basically colliding with a horizontal resistance that's been smashing the price action of Binance since May. And this is actually staying in congruence with my descending triangle. And you just got to be patient. Maybe a few more days we'll actually hit these areas, or we might head down lower from here. As you can see, we're kind of like stuck here. But if we do get here, this is the golden short zone that you want to get in on. And then that's when you can actually just come down lower. So I have been preaching Binance token is made of full of hot air. I think we'll at least retest these 120s. If we do break to the upside, what invalidates my thesis is basically a break to the upside, a retest that's confirmed, and then a move to the upside. You gotta wait for that retest. Sometimes those retests, they never come. That's okay. That's just bullishness in itself. But sometimes they do come, and when they reverse hard. So be ready for anything. This could come up and just get rejected, or it could come up, fake you out, get a few people in, and then come down. And that is basically it for Binance. So we are moving a little higher on Binance. And let's look at Solana. Solana, I had my eyes on $30. I think we can get there. So a $30 Solana is a good Solana to short. And I think you could retrace it. Maybe not as low as $8, but you'll definitely get some cash on this one. So wait for that $30. You got to time these things with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin is going to bottom, if Bitcoin's looking kind of top-ish, then that's when you get in on these alts. And you can see that Solana might get one last push to the upside. And look at the good news here. Solana has created a massive bearish divergence that is being confirmed on the daily. So the more we move up on Solana, there's less buyers. That's good news if you are shorting. And I told you guys this is getting really hot. We were oversold. So, you can literally just trade this trend, wait for some confirmations, and you can be profitable as a swing trader. So if you look at Solana, we're making higher highs and lower lows on the RSI. This might be our final push to that $30 mark, maybe even 31, and then we head lower. How low can we go? So as far as the rest of the cryptocurrency market goes and everything else, everything I'm talking about with going lower, what I'm technically meaning is we're going to retest our breakout zones or get close to them. And then that test will tell you whether or not we are in a full-on bullish rally. So keep that in mind when you are trading, that these retests that are coming back down, they're not technically your sign that we're going to go lower. It's basically just telling you we're retesting the breakout zones, and we might head higher actually. So keep that in mind. Last but not least, let's look at the spider. These are stocks. We're coming back. So we're having a green day on the spider. We're basically coming back to retest this zone area that I told you guys is a key area of resistance and support for the spider. We had a very high bounce. I don't think that this move to the upside for the SPY is actually going to break out. I think that we're just going to hang out here a little bit in the zone, and then we're going to fake a bunch of people out and then head lower. The stocks aren't looking good just because the Feds are being so hawkish. So keep that in mind when you are trading. This is just going to be an area of resistance. Do not long into this. We are basically in resistance here. And lastly, the DXY, so the dollar. The dollar actually broke, or it's breaking its support. Actually, let me move this down a bit. Let me just put it in a key and good area. So the dollar, you can argue, is still in a solid support. And the reason being is because you're getting this nice little rounding bottom as we did earlier in the year, last year. And so you can see that it helped us traject all the way up to those highs. Right now, what you're seeing with the dollar is this nice little rounding. So what I expect to see is basically us to round and kind of move up in the next few days with the dollar, DXY. And then that's going to tell us basically that a local bottom is in, kind of like how we saw in Bitcoin in the 15,000. That doesn't mean that that is the bottom. I think the dollar is eventually going to break down. But we do have a hawkish Feds, and what they do is they basically want that dollar to regain its strength. So I'm expecting some sort of rounding bottom. While this is rounding out like this, you can expect Bitcoin and all the other assets to keep moving up. But once this starts shooting, like going parabolic again, be careful trading and longing, because that is going to be what's going to catch you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is another daily update. If you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am your host, Jitsuko Toshiro. We have 53 subscribers, and I am very grateful for every single one of you. And lastly, if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter. This is my Twitter tag, Jitsuko Toshiro, as well. And I give you guys real-time updates here. All you gotta do is like this video, smash that subscribe button, and follow me on these platforms. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys like the content. Thank you so much.